Hello and welcome to the Mix 6 podcast with your host, me, Tom Pinks, as part of The Mix, the UK's leading digital support service for young people. In this episode, we're joined by someone whose journey on two wheels is as inspiring as it is powerful. Just a few years ago, Amy Hudson was working as a mental health nurse, but facing burnout, she decided to pick up a bike as a way to reset. And in just a short time, she's transformed that decision into some of the most incredible endurance cycling challenges imaginable. And so it gives me a humongous pleasure to welcome her onto the podcast today. Amy, hello.
Hiya, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here today. With the Mix 6, we have 6 questions around you and what you represent and what you're up to at the moment. You're here for a very, very special reason, and we'll come to that in just a moment. But to kick it all off, we have our quick fire 6. So they're all 6 snappy questions designed to just ease the listener into our conversation today. Are you ready to cycle into it?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's do it. Okay. They're all cycling themed, by the way. So number one, what is your number one cycling anthem?
Oh, that's a hard one. I'd say it's a bit of a weird one, but I don't actually know like what the name of the song is, but the song that's like "They See Me Rolling," that one.
Okay. Yeah. No.
That's a bit like it's a bit of rap, but it's
Mhm.
kind of like going up a climb. It makes me laugh because I just envision myself bopping to that song, and it fits in with cycling. So that, but also on when I was doing my big challenge I just done, the song Rise Up, which is a bit
Mhm.
like it's a bit sad, but it's also like it's about like, rising up through the hard stuff. When I was going up
Mhm.
mountains on my bike, I do like listening to that as well. Having a bit of sing song
Nice.
sometimes.
Different soundtracks for different moods, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Number two, your number one cycling snack.
Or it's got to be, if I could only pick one thing, a banana. It's just trusty. It's just
Hmm.
easy to eat, tastes good, and it gives me energy. So yeah,
I love
a good old
how I love how bananas have their own natural wrapper. So it's not like an apple. You can actually
yeah,
peel it off and it's a clean fruit
and they're cheap as well.
and they're cheap. Yeah, absolutely. Number one cycling route. So where is your best place to cycle?
I love cycling in the Peak District. That's where I started cycling, and I live
Hmm.
near the peaks. I'm very lucky that I can get there, maybe within an hour. So yeah, and it's hilly, so it's hard, but it's beautiful. So
Nice.
I love it.
Question four, bit of it, maybe a tricky one. Number one cycling motivational quote.
Mine is, I say it to myself, is I can and I will. So it's not really a quote, it's more like a mantra, but if I'm struggling up a climb, I like to say it as my pedals are going round. I'm like, I can and I will, I can and I will. It's yeah, an easy, positive thing to say to myself.
Nice. You've got "You See Me Rolling" in the background. You're
Yeah.
shouting this out in the Peak
Yeah.
District. I can envision it right now. Um, Number one cycling hero, someone you look up to.
Or I'd say probably Lizzie Diagnan. So she's a British cyclist. She's like she's kind of like the nation's sweetheart in cycling, and she just I've had the pleasure of like meeting her. So she's a pro cyclist, and she's just such a lovely person. Like she's had children, and she's come back from that and still done really well in races. And she won Paris-Roubaix, which is quite a hard ride on cobbles. So yeah, she's just really
Nice.
lovely, really genuine, and yeah, an inspiration.
Brilliant. And finally, your number one thing to do when you're not cycling.
Or cooking and eating it.
Hmm.
I really like baking. I love making cakes. I love cooking curry as well on the other end of the spectrum. So yeah, cooking, and if I'm tired, just chilling and reading a book.
Nice. Nice. What a life. Thank you so much. So that was the quick fire 6. We're going to keep rolling straight into the Mix 6 questions. So these are 6 questions all about yourself. And to kick it off, I think it was most appropriate to ask you, it's been quite a summer for you. What have you been up
Yeah.
to?
So in July, well, I started at the end of June and I've cycled every stage of the men's Tour de France, plus the transfers in between. So the men's Tour de France is sort of the biggest well-known bike race of the year, and it happens every year. And in between each stage, so the stage will end in one place and it'll start somewhere else. And the pro teams will get in a bus and go from one place to the next. But I rode the stages and then I rode the bits in between as well. So it was 4,080 miles. Um, and I did it in 29 days with 1 day off in the middle. So apparently I'm the first woman to do that. Women have done all the stages before, but not the transfers in between. So yeah, it was pretty full on July.
Yeah, a little bit. You're making me sound really lazy. What did I do? Oh, I did a Lord of the Rings marathon in July. That's the most
I've never
endurance.
been, to be honest.
Oh well, I don't blame you. Like you're so busy. I don't know where you'd find the time. Was it your when did you come to the decision, oh, I want to do the transfers as well? Was that always the case?
Yeah, so I wanted to do something really hard. I wanted to raise as much money as possible for the charity. And I got inspired. There's a man that's done it before called Lachlan Morton, who's an endurance cyclist. And I watched a documentary about him. And I just thought, wow, a woman's not done it. So that's what I want to do. And I decided that in 2023. So I didn't think I'd be ready in 2024 because I only started cycling in lockdown in 21. So I thought I need another year of cycling in my legs first to get to being able to do that, and then went for it this year. So
And I think the journey has been phenomenal. Obviously, uh, tens of thousands of people have been following you on that journey on YouTube, Instagram, and the money that you've raised has been staggering. Did you ever expect it to just skyrocket like it has?
no, I never expected it, honestly. I didn't expect the amount of money that we raised. I raised on the challenge. I say we because my husband was in a car supporting along the way. He was a big part of it as well. I wouldn't have been able to do it without him. But yeah, I started my Instagram and YouTube just to help. I wanted to inspire people that struggled. I struggled with my own mental health when I was working as a nurse and had to leave my job. And I sort of hit bottom and just felt really alone. And as I got better and I found the bike and cycling really helped me, I had counselling as well. And I just started the accounts to hopefully help someone that was struggling like I did. And I never expected it to grow, but somehow it did. And yeah, it's what I do now. So it's crazy. It just still doesn't really feel real.
Yeah, I bet so. I mean, it has just been the most full on like couple of months for you since you started it. And I
Yeah.
think we need to big up your husband as well for coming along for the ride. Okay, he was sat in
Yeah.
a car, but he was with you the whole time, wasn't he?
Yeah, so he was the chief snatch giver, cheerleader, supporter. So he would basically meet me half at 60 miles into my ride. So I'd ride for 4 hours, and he'd meet me then for some food, and then I'd ride for another 4 hours. He'd meet me again, and then I'd ride to the end. So he'd meet me twice in the day. And then in between that, I'd be going to the shop, buying the food I needed, washing my kit, setting up stuff at the accommodation, driving around in French roads where he doesn't know where he is. And yeah, just really, he also rode some of the mountains with me. So that was really helpful to have him there because he loves cycling as well. So yeah, he was, I don't think we expected how hard it would be for him as well. He had so much to do. He didn't have a spare minute, but he definitely, got some bakeries in when he could. So he was happy. Some croissants along the way.
Was he ever driving alongside you and would just, roll down the window and then give you a croissant or a banana?
Yeah. So he would like sometimes he'd drive beside me and like we had like a little donkey mascot. He'd like hold it out
Mm.
the window and then as he drove away, he'd like hold it out the window so I could just see it. Like if I was in a bad mood or if I was struggling, things like that helped. Or he'd like drive past with some loud music, like funny music on. So yeah, that was handy.
Nice. And obviously going back to your journey and the following that you've amassed, and I bet that did that help as well, like knowing that so many people were tuned into what you're doing, probably deep down knowing that you were, as you said, sort of helping other people and changing lives.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I never really, it's weird when I put YouTube out. I never really think, oh, how many people are going to watch this or how many people follow along. But when I was there, it did make me realize, well, people actually do follow along and know what I'm doing because I was getting so many messages and even people that came out to cheer me on in random little villages in France. Someone came and bought, they know that my favourite dinner is curry. So they like messaged Kyle before to check when we were going to be there, and they made us a homemade curry for that evening and flapjacks and bought me some chai latte, which was my favourite drink. So it was just so nice. And I think, yeah, it definitely helps because I sometimes don't realise like that I am helping people. And that's always my aim. But I don't fully understand it sometimes. But I'll get a message from someone saying that like they follow my account and it's really helped them with their mental health and or they've started cycling now or that they find the videos like make them laugh when they're not feeling good. So I always try and my videos are I'm always quite a bit silly and just don't help people think. So I think it can make people laugh and yeah, that's the aim really to bring a smile to people. So yeah, it definitely helped me to keep going knowing that people at home are watching along and it kind of put a bit more pressure on me that I couldn't quit because I knew that I had so many people
Hmm.
behind me at home. So I was like, that was a good thing in a way. When I struggled, I was like, well, all these people are watching, so I can't quit.
Yeah. It sounds like you're in, obviously, with a challenge such as yours, you are probably going to come to some hurdles, struggle a little bit. It sounds like you're in safe hands. You had the donkey mascot, you had croissants, curry, bananas, your husband, and all,
Yeah,
as you said, all of these people reaching out, which is just like the most inspiring thing, isn't it? Just to, when you're potentially feeling a bit low one day and then you just open up Instagram and you've got a message
yeah,
saying, you really helped me at the
yeah,
moment. Yeah.
yeah. It was really nice. Like, I can't like thank everyone enough for the support that they gave me and the messages along the way of people saying like keep going and just seeing the donations going up as well because I was aiming to raise 10,000 and somehow we've raised like over 90,000. So it's just yeah, mental really. And that kept me going too, just knowing that, if I finish to get more donations and help more people. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And that brings us nicely on to the second question. As you said, hoping to potentially raise £10,000, ended up with 90, which is just absolutely incredible. That money is going to go to such a great cause. Obviously, Shout helping people when they're in a crisis, texting in and having someone to talk to with whatever they're going through, and the mix as well, offering counselling services and community to hundreds, thousands of young people out there. Why was it important for you to raise that money for Shout and the mix?
Well, for me, it's like because I struggled with my own mental health. So during sixth form is when I really started to struggle. I put a lot of pressure on myself in my exams. In my head, I had to get A stars in my exams, otherwise I was a failure. And then I went to uni and it was the same pressure. I had to get a first, otherwise it was a failure. And I ended up struggling with an eating disorder, basically. And it was really hard. And then I went into doing nursing and I worked with people that also struggled with an eating disorder. And I was well enough to help people, but I hadn't really dealt with my own problems. And then it all came to a head in lockdown. I just had a complete breakdown, really struggled to a point where I had no choice, but I had to leave my job because I just wasn't well enough to work. And I think, I'm really lucky that I have my family and had my husband to support me and my mum and my dad, and I could talk to them. And I did have counselling as well. But I think a lot of people maybe don't feel comfortable talking to family. It took me ages to actually tell someone I was struggling, and when I did it, it really helped. So I'd say anyone struggling, like, don't be afraid to talk about it because the first steps to getting help is talking. So I think that's why I chose to do it for the Mix and Shout because they offer that support that people need, and it's easy to send a text and get help. It's a lot easier to send a text than it is to pick up the phone and call someone or talk to someone face to face. So it's not
Mhm.
easy to send a text, but it's easier than,
Yeah.
picking up the phone and also that with young people as well, that community. I mean, when I struggled, I went to like an online support group. I struggled with my eating, but I also struggled with real intrusive thoughts that something bad was going to happen. Got really stressed at work, and just got convinced that one of the people I worked with, one of the young people, something bad might happen to them, and it might be my fault because I'm the nurse and I should be the one. I put too much responsibility on myself, basically. And obviously, when you're working with people that are unwell, something bad will probably happen because they're not very well. So it was just a really hard mindset to be in. And I went to a support group for people that struggle with intrusive thoughts, and I felt like such a weirdo. Like I just felt so different to everyone else, and I thought, what is happening to me? Like I don't know what's happening. I felt like I was going crazy. and I thought no one's going to understand, and I'm on my own. But going to the support group really helped me because I was listening to other people talking about their intrusive thoughts, and I was thinking that is not going to happen. Like like why are you worried about that? And then I was like, oh, they're probably thinking that about me. So it kind of helped me to meet other people that struggled, and yeah, I think for young people, the mix providing that sort of community and support is really helpful. So yeah, that's why I chose to do it for the off charity.
Nice. And how are you doing? How are you doing now?
I'm really good. Honestly, I'm
Yeah.
probably the best. Yeah, the best I've ever been. I mean, I think I'll always struggle. I think, my eating is fine now. Like I've got my periods back. I'm a healthy weight. I can eat what I want. It took me a long time because when I started cycling, I probably wasn't a healthy weight. I didn't have a good relationship with food. Like going to the cafe would stress me out. I had to check the menu before I went. I could only eat certain foods. Whereas now, I just eat what I want. Like I
Hmm.
can go to a cafe, I can enjoy a cake. Like life is too short not to enjoy a piece of cake.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think, I think if you've had an eating disorder, there's always that sort of little voice that's there sometimes. Like, oh, don't eat that. But I can ignore it. Like it's there, but I don't listen to it at all anymore. I'm just like, oh, that's an eating disorder voice. I'm not listening to it. But I think I'd always struggle with maybe being a bit of an overthinker and putting pressure on myself, but I can manage it now. And that's the difference. Like before I wasn't managing it. So it was making me unwell. Whereas now I'm like, right, that's just me putting pressure on myself and I don't need to listen to that. And I can like manage it in that way. And I've got the bike to go out and clear my head and I can, talk to people. And yeah, I feel like mentally I'm probably in a really good place now. I'm probably the best I've been as long as I can remember. And I think I've just kind of, as well, learned like not to care what people think as much and just be
Hmm.
myself. I always felt through school and uni and things, I'd like change myself to try and fit in with what was the in group. I never really felt like I fit in. But now
Hmm.
that I found the bike and cycling, I feel like I fit in with that community. And it's like the only time I've felt that. So I think, yeah, if you struggle yourself, you've got to find that place where you fit in and also don't worry about fitting in. Just be yourself and don't care because we've only got one life, haven't we? So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I got myself better in a way. I was just like, well, I don't want to waste my life like focusing on food and what I weigh because I'm
Yeah.
just wasting my life basically. I'm not enjoying it. So
Mm.
it took a long time, but yeah, we got to a healthy place again. And yeah, it was definitely worth all the tears and hard work to
Hmm.
get happy again. So yeah.
Great. Yeah. Complete turnaround from the sounds of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's not normal to be happy all the time. I still have
Yeah.
down days. I
Yeah.
still have anxious moments. I still have times where I'm like, everything feels too much, but I can get through those because I know it doesn't last forever.
Hmm.
And I also think, you enjoy the good days more when you've had some bad days because you appreciate the happy moments. And,
Yeah.
you just have to tell yourself it's okay. Have a
Hmm.
bad day. Everybody does. But wake up the next day and it might be better. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Definitely. Yeah. You got to have night with day and day with night, don't you?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. That brings us really nicely onto the third question. As a mental health advocate, Amy, what parallels are you seeing between sport and well-being?
Oh, I think it's so good. I think when you do sport in the right way, obviously I've seen both sides of it. If you struggled with over exercise and compulsion, then that can be an unhealthy relationship. But I think if you're doing it in the right amount and you're doing it because you want to do it, because you've got an aim and you enjoy it, yeah, I think it's so good for your mental health. I mean, I sometimes I don't feel like going on a run in the morning. I'm like, oh, I'm not sure. Like this morning, I was like, oh, should I just leave it till later in the day? But I was like, no, 'cause then I probably won't go, or I'll just be thinking about it all day. So I got up, went on my run with the dog, didn't look at what time I was running, just went and ran. And I got home and felt so much better. And it's like getting out in the fresh air, just moving, like you get the endorphins and you just feel so much better. So I definitely think like just even if it's just going on a walk, it's just so good for you. And definitely I found that with the bike, like cycling, seeing the views, you just see things in a different way. Like if you're driving through a place in the countryside, yeah, you see it, but you're not in it.
Yeah.
If you're running through it or cycling through it, you're really in nature and you're feeling all the wind on you or the rain or whatever, but it makes you feel good. Like there's no better feeling than coming home from a long bike ride, like getting in comfy clothes after a nice hot shower and just, feeling good for doing it. So I think as long as you're doing it in a healthy way, not
Hmm.
over exercising, you're fueling yourself properly, eating enough to feel what you're doing, and yeah, it's so good for mental health.
We've had Joe Wicks on the podcast before, and he said, you never regret a workout. Have you ever regretted a workout?
No, I honestly haven't. Like, no, I've only regretted when I've not done one. Like, if I've planned to go on a ride or do something and then something happens or I can't do it, then I'm like, oh, I wish I'd just got up and done it earlier. Like, so no, you
Hmm.
never regret it. It might sometimes be hard to get out the door. I think sometimes the hardest bit is just putting your trainers on or putting your bike kit on, your helmet on, because it's
Hmm.
new. But I always, if I'm, I always know if I'm like, oh, if I'm sort of not very motivated, because I'll start delaying. I'll be like, oh, I'll just, just sort of pop this away, and I'll just like watch it out, and like even just go on the road and get out there.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Moving on to question 4 then, about struggling and about the pressures. How did you deal with the pressure of the challenge? And how do you normally deal with pressure, both in sport and everyday life? I know you touched on it a little bit, but it'd be lovely to hear you explore it more.
So there's still a bit of pressure going into the big ride, because obviously it's kind of all I've been focusing on for the whole year before, been training up to it. I knew that, with the social media, like quite a lot of people knew that I was going to be doing it. So every ride I was going on building up to it, all I could think about was France. And I was like, if I was struggling going up a hill at home, I'd be thinking, I'm struggling up this hill. How on earth am I going to get up a hill in the Alps? Like, I'm not going to be able to do it. So I did kind of have to really, I really find it helpful to use like positive sayings in my head to try and like bring myself back. So I really had to be like, Amy, don't worry. Like, that's a worry for when you're there. Like, don't worry about what's to come or what's already been. Just be in the moment that you're in. That was a really helpful thing for me going into it, was don't worry about what you can't control,
Hmm.
because it's just wasted time. I always say to stuff like, worry time is wasted time. Unless it's a worry that you can do something about right now, then there's no point
Hmm.
worrying about it, because there were some worries I could do something about, like, oh, I've not ordered everything I need. Well, order it now then you've got it. But
Hmm.
I was worried about, oh, what happens if I get injured? What happens if I get like a bike mechanical and I've got no signal and I can't ring Kyle and I don't know what to do? Is that, well, I can't control that. I've done everything I can. I know how to fix most things on my bike, so that's okay. You're prepared. You've done all the training to not get injured. So you've done everything you can. So there's no point worrying. So I think, yeah, with pressure, I think a lot of pressure comes from myself rather than the people around you. I think sometimes you have to remind yourself of that. Like most people, I think if I didn't complete the challenge, they're not going to be like, oh my, they're not going to be saying, oh,
Hmm.
you're rubbish and stuff. It's only me that will be saying that. So you just have to remind yourself that the pressure is from yourself. So you've got the power to reduce that pressure because it's only coming from you. So, yeah, I think a bit of pressure is good, because if I went into it not really bothered, then probably wouldn't be very successful. But yeah, I do take what I learned from the bike into my everyday life as well.
Hmm.
So just trying to, yeah, not. I think the main thing is to not try not to worry, which is a lot easier said than done. But try and be in the moment that you're in, because like I say, yeah, the things in the past you can't change and you can't control the future. So you've got to try and be in the moment as much
Yeah.
as I can.
And it really sounds like cycling and the bike helps you do that.
Definitely. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think because when you're on the bike, the thing that really helped me when I was struggling with my mental health was going out on the bike gave me a break from
Hmm.
my head, kind of, because when I started, I mean, it's still hard now when I'm going up a big climb, but it was a lot harder when I first started cycling. So all I could literally do was focus on being able to breathe and just getting up to the top of the climb, and I couldn't think of anything else. So all I could think about was pedal, pedal, pedal. So then I wasn't thinking about all the worries that were in my head.
Hmm.
So it kind of took me away from the struggle in my head, which is what really, really helped me, because all you think about when you're on, for example, a multi-day ride. I went up to Scotland and did a really nice ride over a few days, and all you think about is riding your bike, getting enough to eat, and getting to where you're staying that night, and getting a
Hmm.
bed and a roof over your head. And it goes back to the simple things of like running out of water and then being really grateful for finding some water. So you just remind you being out on the bike to appreciate the simple things. I think sometimes we take things for granted, like just having food in the fridge and being able to have water available to drink.
Hmm.
It just brings you to that, yeah, just being grateful for the little things. I think it's so easy to get wrapped up in comparing ourselves to what other people have. Like they've got more than me, they've got more money, they've got a nicer clothes, handbag, car, whatever it is. But actually, if you've got water and you've got food in your fridge, you've got a comfy bed and a roof over your head, then you're doing okay. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
That's where the real happiness lies,
yeah,
by the sounds of it. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
If you could tell your 15-year-old self one thing, what would it be?
it will be to stop putting so much pressure on yourself, enjoy being 15, and because everything's going to be okay.
Hmm.
And it's going to be okay. And yeah, you're good enough the way that you are. You don't need to try and change yourself to fit in with the trend. Just enjoy being you. That's
Brilliant.
what I think.
Yeah, spot on. We've reached the final question, and I just want to say it's just been so inspiring just listening to you, and I'm sure our listeners will get that sense as well. So thank you, Amy. And I wanted to leave, wanted you to leave our listeners with something now. What advice do you have for our listeners who perhaps want to get into cycling or want to get involved in any sort of sport or running or exercise, but they might feel a little bit anxious or maybe even a bit unsure about where to start?
I'd say don't be nervous about it. Everyone's a beginner at some point. When I started cycling, you should have seen me. I had no clue. I didn't even know I didn't have no clue what I was doing. But I think what helped me, I went on a lot of rides with my dad when I started. So I think if you've got someone else that you can start with, it always makes it a bit less scary. So if you've got a friend or like a family member who's willing to ride with you or run whatever you want to do, then that can really help. And then you're doing it together and it's less scary. But I'd say just don't worry about how fast you go or how far you go. Everybody starts somewhere. So just start off with something really small and just build it up slowly and don't put pressure on yourself and do it to enjoy it. Like don't focus on speed.
Hmm.
Now obviously I do focus a little bit more on that, but that comes with time. And when I started it was just going out, enjoying it. And also if you do get into cycling, you will start to know about all the best cafes around. So that's always a bonus because a lot of cycling is involved around going to a nice cafe and cycling home. So you could always use that as a motivation. But yeah, I think have things that motivate you as well. So a cafe is a good motivator. Um, but yeah, just don't be scared to start. Everybody starts somewhere. And in terms of like getting a bike, they can be really expensive, but secondhand bikes are absolutely fine. Just make sure you get the right size because that's a
Hmm.
mistake I made when I started. I had a bike that was way too small for me, so it wasn't ideal. Yeah, make sure you get the right size bike and don't worry about how much, don't worry about spending loads of money or the best kit. Just go out and enjoy it and yeah,
Yeah.
have fun.
Well, I have to say, you had me at cafes. I'm going to, straight after this, hop onto Facebook Marketplace and see what I can find.
I didn't realise because I joined a cycle club like a year after starting cycling, and before that, I just started with my dad or on my own and take little pack lunch with me and stuff. But when I went to the cycling club, it's all about cafe rides. So now I'm like, oh, great, go for a case of coffee. It's great. Well, I don't drink coffee, but chai latte or hot chocolate
Yeah.
will do me. So yeah,
Perfect. So it's really a cafe club with a little bit of cycling. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Hmm. Amy, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. It's just been great listening to you. I know we've been following your journey for a couple of months, but to have the chance to sit down with you and really listen to as to the why and how and everything around it is just been really great. So thank you so much.
That's okay. Sorry it's taken so long to get hold of me.
No, it's fine. Fine. You're very busy. You're very in demand. And if you wanted to find out more about the Mix or Shout, then head over to themix.org.uk or just Google Give Us a Shout, where you'll find tons of resources, articles, community, and counselling services for anyone under 25. For now, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you again soon. Take care. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.